Thank you, Bhante. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa buddhang dhammang sanghang namassami. Very good morning to all the upasakas and upasikas here, and also to all the upasakas and upasikas who are joining online. So, as Bhante was saying, many of you have come here today to take Diksha, taking refuge in the triple gem. It is important to know the qualities, the virtues, and the significance of taking refuge in the triple gem. This is a fact that all of us in the past means in the past lives, have been born and died in samsara many times. And all of us have also gone here and there asking for guidance, spiritual guidance, religious guidance, and such things. We have encountered people, uh, teachers, or philosophies, or ideas. This is what I am saying, it is applicable to all of you, to all of us, without exception. This is not a theory or anything. This is the fact of life. Just because you don't see the things doesn't mean things don't exist. So we have gone to people, we have asked for guidance. Sometimes we have got some good advice. Sometimes we have also got some wrong advice in the past lives. And at some point of time in some life, you have encountered also the triple gem in some way or the other. You have developed faith, maybe big or small, but some amount of faith in the triple gem. And this is clear from the fact that you are all sitting here. So, some impression with regard to the triple gem is there. It may not be very strong, but some impression is there. And for some of you, you may have strengthened this. Some of you may have encountered this, but may not have understood the significance of it. When we say triple gem, it comes to your mind naturally, the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. The Buddha is the one who has fulfilled his spiritual qualifications, paramis, to the highest level, and became the Sammasambuddha, supremely enlightened Buddha, by himself, without anybody's assistance. It took him a very long time to discover these Four Noble Truths. he had to fulfill these all these 10 paramis. You may have heard of them: dana, sila, nekama, like this, truthfulness, generosity, morality, patient endurance, loving, loving kindness, effort, all these 10 paramis. He had to fulfill it to the highest level. And the only way he could do it is by keep walking, by not stopping. In his own words, he said, I didn't stop, I didn't try to run also, like I didn't try to force myself in such a way that it would be difficult. I kept walking, but I never stopped. And that's how he came to the final fulfillment of his spiritual qualities, realization of these four noble truths, the supreme self enlightenment, Anuttara Samma Sambodhi, what we call. It is not possible, it is almost impossible for most of us to become a Buddha, because it requires a very sustained effort for an extremely long period of time, which is not possible for most of the people. Even if they start somewhere, they will not be able to sustain it after a certain period of time. Only few people can sustain with patient endurance. Spiritual life is all about patient endurance. Kanti Valang. Patient endurance is means you are not enduring other people, you are not enduring situations, you are not enduring external things. You are observing, being mindful, seeing, not reacting, and letting go all things that arise in your mind, good, bad, wholesome, unwholesome, everything. So the Buddha fulfilled like this. He did not stop. He did not stop for a moment. As a bodhisattva, when he fulfilled his paramis, he was doing, sometimes big, sometimes small, but he was not stopping. For most of us, it is difficult. One life you can do, two lives you can do, three lives maybe you can do, 10 or 20 lives maybe you can do. But to do it for millions and billions of lives, difficult, impossible, almost impossible. So that's what the Buddha did. And he didn't do it for a selfish interest. Okay, I shall become the Samma Sambuddha. Therefore, people will praise me, people will honor me, human beings and devas and brahmas, everybody will respect me. Not out of because of any of those desires he did it. Only one intention he had in mind, that is the ability to obtain the highest ability to understand and explain the Dhamma in myriad ways, in different ways to different people, so that they can understand. They can also find a way out of dukkha, out of suffering. So this is what we call Maha Karuna, great compassion of the Buddha. With this great compassion, he fulfilled his paramis, struggling and struggling and struggling many times, suffering in so many different ways, giving up his life, giving up his property, giving up his relatives, giving up his body parts, sacrificing everything. He struggled and did and did and did till it all became so perfect that he became the Samma Sambuddha. So when you say Buddhang Saranang Gacchami, you remember, you recollect, first of all, these noble qualities that the Samma Sambuddha has fulfilled. These noble qualities that he has fulfilled life after life after life with a mind of infinite compassion towards all living beings. You recollect that noble virtue of a Sammasambuddha. This is important because this is our way of expressing gratitude to the greatest of all beings, to the noblest and kindest of all teachers and guide of all sentient beings. This is where all spiritual practice start, with gratefulness. Lord Buddha also says, gratefulness is a virtue of good people. So if somebody is, say, for example, ungrateful, somebody has no uh, gratefulness and gratitude, then you cannot call that person good person. Asapurisa, in the words of Lord Buddha himself, such a person should be called asapurisa, bad person. And that person has no chance in progressing in Dhamma. Let me be very clear. Asapurisa, bad person, a person whose heart has no virtue, no goodness, he or she is not going to progress in Dhamma. So gratitude, that's where our gratitude starts toward the Buddha. That these Four Noble Truths, Eightfold Path, Sila Samadhi Panya, whatever you want to call it, straightforward, precise, somebody has given. And we can just practice, we can just understand. We don't have to find it out. We don't have to figure it out. What should we do? What should we not do? What is right? What is wrong? What is the right path? What is the wrong path? We don't have to struggle with those. If we have to struggle with those things, it will take a very long time. You cannot really make a head and tail out of this. Just remember, if there was no Buddha, if you never heard of his teachings, somebody says, what is the path to liberation? Do you know by yourself? You don't. Simply you don't. You have all ideas, and all your ideas are rooted in ignorance, not wisdom. Because the Sammasambuddha is there, living, now also he is living in Dhammakaya, of course. Not physically living, but living in Dhammakaya, guiding people, guiding beings. So because of that, so we start with that gratitude towards the Sammasambuddha. So pay homage with a mind of gratitude. This is the kindest, noblest, wisest, greatest teacher. And I have come to him. I have paid my salutations, humble salutations at his lotus feet, and I take refuge in him, the supreme guide of all beings. Remember like this, recollect like this. Then your mind will be full of happiness and rapture. When you recollect the noble qualities, I must also tell you that it is not possible for you to remember and recollect all the virtues that the Sammasambuddha possessed. Not possible for you. Even for Venerable Sariputta, the chief disciple of Lord Buddha, in his own words, if I were to say all these virtues, after one kalpa also it will not end. So what to talk of ordinary people, being such a great Arahant himself? Venerable Sariputta said like this. So at least a bit of it you can recollect. You cannot recollect the infinite ocean. All the things in and out of the ocean, you cannot. That is beyond your ability. But at least you remember some of the basic qualities of the ocean, so some of the basic virtues. So when you take refuge in the Buddha, remember these. And then we recite some of the Navaguna, 9 qualities. Itipiso Bhagava Arahang Samma Sambuddho Vijja Charana Sampanno Sugato Loka Vidu, like this. You have already many times, you recite at home, maybe many of you recite when you come to the vihara, and many of the meanings you already may be knowing. So, but you should try to know deeper and deeper these meanings. Arahang, enlightened, Samma Sambuddho, self, one who has become enlightened by his own effort, without any guide, without any teacher. Vidya Charana Sampanno, embodiment of wisdom and virtue, like this. So then you have a great amount of faith, a faith rooted in wisdom, conviction rooted in wisdom, right understanding arising in your heart. So this is the right kind of refuge. Then you will not, if when you have developed that kind of faith rooted in wisdom, then you don't have to go around and search here and there, this and that. This is right, that is right, this teacher, this thing, that philosophy, that idea. You don't have to do like that. When you have developed that, it will stay with you. That is your wealth. Similarly, the Dhamma, the qualities, the teaching that Lord Buddha has given. If you remember, like for example, now you came here, you have practiced meditation for some time. When you have practiced meditation, when you are able to see, say you are observing the breath, when you are observing the breath, one or two or three or some of the breath mindfully, simple. And when you are able to see this, you can see your mind is having peacefulness to that extent. So the Dhamma is leading to peacefulness, leading to higher levels, upanaiko. So this is a quality. You can hear and now you can experience right now the quality of the Dhamma. Sandithiko, akaliko, timeless. Whether you do it today, whether you had done it 10 years before, whether you will do it after 20 years, it's the same. When you have followed the, say for example, when you cultivate the virtue of truthfulness, you cultivate truthfulness, which is one of the precepts, one of the 5 precepts. You say it, you are truthful, then your heart has goodness, virtue, peacefulness, joy. All these qualities will remain in your heart. Whether you did it 20 years back, whether you will do it now, otherwise you are going to do it after 20 years, it's the same. Similarly, all the other qualities. Upanaiko, leading to upwards. And when you cultivate any of the virtue, any of the goodness, any of the good qualities, any of the meditative practices that the Lord Buddha has taught us, generosity, morality, meditation, whatever good you do, it always leads to deeper and deeper peacefulness and happiness. It doesn't lead to suffering. In this universe, nobody has ever said, I have followed what the Lord Buddha told me to follow with all right intention and right effort, and I have a lot of suffering because of that arising in my mind. Nobody has said like this. Nobody can say like this. This is the power of the Dhamma. It doesn't lead to suffering, it leads to freedom from suffering, moment to moment, and also finally. That's the power of the Dhamma. It's like a medicine. And then, so when you recollect the Dhamma correctly, wisely, then your mind will have gladness, peacefulness, happiness. Also, you must also remember when you remember the Dhamma or practice the Dhamma or recollect the Dhamma or the Buddha or Dhamma or Sangha, they are all the same ultimately. You must tune your thoughts in accordance with the Dhamma. You should not try to tune Dhamma according to your thoughts. What is Dhamma is Dhamma. What is Lord Buddha has very clearly said, this is wholesome, this is unwholesome, this is straight path, this is path to crookedness and suffering, this is path to freedom from suffering. Clearly all the things he has clearly explained. Not having You don't have to have confusion about those things. So you just have to tune your mind according to it. Yeah, this is what the Supreme Buddha has said. This is what is mentioned in Dhamma. I will tune my heart according to it. Don't expect Dhamma to tune according to your likings and dislikings. Then you are just being stupid. That's all. Don't do like this. Then you will be lost in the samsara, wherever it is. Doesn't matter. It's the same for, because the heart of the beings is same. Whether they are poor people, rich people, educated, uneducated, this country, that country, doesn't matter. When you try to have a perverted view of Dhamma according to your likings and dislikings, then you are making a fatal mistake, a very bad mistake you are doing. You shall not succeed in Dhamma. It's same for all. Whether lay people or monks, same for all. Same. Nobody is above Dhamma. You must understand. You are not above Dhamma. We are not above Dhamma. Nobody in this universe is above the Dhamma. Dhamma is the supreme. So you should honor the Dhamma, respect the Dhamma, give grateful, and practice like this. Then when we say refuge, refuge means what? Refuge means a secure place. A place where you can go and find security. A place where you can find security. Oh, when you have in our life, we'll have all kinds of things. Someday success, someday failure, someday happiness, someday suffering, someday good, someday bad. It is the nature of the world. It's the same for all people. We can't change these things. Loka Dhamma, we say, no? Loka Dhamma, nature of the world. This is something, it is beyond us to change. Nobody can change. But when you have a refuge, like the way we are discussing about the Buddha, the Dhamma, Sangha, then you have a place in your heart. You develop a place in your heart, a place where you can be glad, you can be peaceful, you can be at ease. Whether the world outside, in and around you, is being peaceful or not being peaceful, whether the world has turmoil or, well, the world is very nice, you will still have a place to go and stay safe. That's the refuge. It's not outward refuge, it is inward refuge. And then the Sangha, all the great men and women who have practiced with earnest dedication, all starting from the time of Venerable Anya Kondanya, the first disciple of Lord Buddha, till now, all the great men and women who have done it in accordance with the teachings, words of the Buddha, and realized this path and fruit, Magga and Phala. So they are your guide. They are your ideal refuge, teacher. You should follow them. They are your ideals because they have listened to the Dhamma. They have practiced it fully, seriously, fully, earnestly. They have also realized it. What freedom from suffering is. For them, it's no longer a theory or anything. It's fact of life. Just like you eat, just like you breathe, similarly, enlightened people, just like that, they also experience Nibbana, just like that, just like breathing. So, which means Nibbana is for real. How do you know Nibbana is for real? Because the Buddha was there and enlightened people are there. Aryas were there and some of them are still there. That's why you know Nibbana is real. Because it is possible. People have attained, people are attaining. Otherwise, it may be sound like a theory. Oh, this is too complicated, too abstract, too beyond ordinary people, or too beyond normal this thing. So maybe it is not real. Maybe it is just a theory. No, it is not. It is real. So the Sangha, all the noble disciples of Lord Buddha, who have practiced correctly, Supatipanno, Ujupatipanno, Nyayapatipanno, Samichipatipanno. So you have to see these qualities. Whoever does it, wherever they are doing it, Supatipanno, doing correctly. Ujupatipanno, straight way. The way Lord Buddha says, they go that way. They will not go another way. So, Nyaya Patipanno, right, in a righteous way. Samichi, what is just, proper. So, when those who have done it in their lives, they also had to undergo struggles and difficulties while doing it. It's not like it was very easy for them to do. It's not. They also had to undergo a lot of struggles and difficulties and endure hardship to do it. But then they did it because they developed. At the beginning, I was telling, no, the kind of faith rooted in wisdom you have in the Buddha. This is the Buddha, out of great compassion guiding us. I have gone to here and there, this and that person, and I have been misguided, and I have suffered in past lives, and I have here come to the Buddha. If I follow the supreme guide of all beings, I shall not suffer. I don't have to go. I don't have to struggle. So, with that kind of attitude, they have followed the Buddha fully. And they have realized. So, that is the Sangha. Very briefly, we are mentioning these qualities, very, very briefly. So, then you recollect the qualities of the Sangha. Again, like this. Then again, your mind will have happiness and peace and rapture. That peace comes from wisdom. That peace comes from right understanding. That peace comes from acknowledging what is truly good and noble in this world. We all try to acknowledge many things. This person, that person. In samsara is like this. Samsara is full of ignorant, unwise people. That's all. Samsara is not full of wise people. No, it is not. Absolutely not. It is full of ignorant people. That's why people praise all kinds of things. Sometimes people praise killing. People praise wrong actions, looting, stealing, deceiving, cheating. People praise, or sometimes people praise unwise people. If somebody is of having, say, for example, a very rich and influential person, if he says something small, insignificant thing, there will be 10 or 20 people standing there saying, "Oh, such a wonderful idea." Whereas maybe just a ordinary farmer or worker, he may have said something very wise. People wouldn't take note of it. Which means what? Which means ignorance is the first priority of beings, not wisdom. Wisdom is not the first priority of the beings living in the samsara. Here, the Buddha Dhamma Sangha shows you the path to wisdom. In this world, it is andhabhuto ayang loko, Lord Buddha says, full of blind people. In this world full of blind people, one who gives the vision, such a person is highest amongst all beings, and that is the Buddha, one who gives the vision. He is showing us, you don't go here, don't be misguided, go this way. One who knows, one who sees, and one who shows. So that is the quality of the Buddha, and that is the quality of the Dhamma, the path leading to the highest, and the Sangha, one who has attained to the highest, and also out of compassion guiding others to the highest. Inspiring others to go to the highest. So this is what the qualities, in very brief manner, the qualities of the Buddha Dhamma Sangha. And you have to recollect like this again and again in your mind. Because Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha is should always be your highest object of recollection. Your highest object of recollection. So that is something that you must do. If you really trying to be sincere about yourself, about the true practice of spirituality, true practice which leads to freedom from suffering, then you have to cultivate these things. Recollecting and cherishing and gladdening your heart and developing a refuge. So when your mind will be full of turmoil, full of suffering, full of disturbances or whatever it is, ups and downs, then you will have a place to go. You will not be lost. Just like a ship in the ocean, like a big ship in the ocean. When there is great storm, they bring it to the harbor, they bring it to the port, they keep it safe in the harbor. Because if it is in the ocean, it will be lost, it will drown, people will die, things will be lost. So they bring it to the harbor. Similarly, this is the harbor, safe harbor that you can develop in your heart. It will take time, but if you are earnest and sincere, it will eventually happen. And then the five precepts the Buddha has given for lay people. Also, very important to know what are the five precepts? Abstaining from killing and violent actions. Instead of that, developing a mind of loving kindness and compassion. Abstaining from stealing, cheating, deceiving. Instead of that, developing a mind of helpfulness and generosity. Abstaining from sexual misconduct, wrong sexual conduct, and developing a mind of faithfulness and virtue and restraint in one's actions. Abstaining from telling lies, and instead of that, developing the truthfulness, the good speech, right speech. Abstaining from alcohols and drugs, intoxicants, because it clouds the mind, and people under the influence of alcohols and drugs, they are lost themselves and then they commit many unwholesome things. So abstaining from those things and develop mindfulness, develop wisdom, develop samadhi, develop meditation, develop all the right qualities in the mind, wholesome qualities. So these five precepts where the Buddha has given, if you look at them and if you look at the world, you can see clearly that because of lack of five precepts, lack of following, their people aren't following these five precepts in their day-to-day lives, many people. That's why there are conflicts between friends, between relatives, between parents and children, between colleagues, between buyer and the purchaser. You go to some shop, for example, and then he has an inferior quality product. And he says, no, no, this is very good. He wants to sell it to you at a higher price. See? And then you bring it home. And then you see, oh, it is bad. I have paid so much of money for this and it is bad. Then there is no good relationship. No good relationship can sustain on immorality. No right relationship can sustain on immoral ground. Only can sustain on moral grounds between anybody in this world. If relationships are based on immoral actions, vices, evil actions, but then it is bound to produce great suffering today or tomorrow. So Lord Buddha has given us, especially for lay people, this wonderful gift of 5 precepts that you can take, you can follow. And when you follow, you can see. When you don't kill, when you are not violent, when you are having a mind of loving kindness, compassion, metta, karuna, a lot of people like you, they are friendly to you, they try to help you. But when you are always shouting and screaming and or fighting or trying to kill other people or harm other people, who will be your friend? You will have a lot of enemies. You go to the left, go to the right, go to the east, go to the west, you will have enemies only. They're always looking for an opportunity. This time I will catch him. See? So, this is the power of precepts. It brings gladness again in your heart. It brings a sort of security, a sense of security. One, say, people, if people are all of the people were to follow, say there are 4 people in the family, 4 or 5 people, or they are in an extended family, maybe 7, 8, 10 people, or in a neighborhood, maybe 500 people, like people, many of you live in apartments or gated communities or places. In your, say, apartment, there are 500 people. Just giving an example. All those 500 people are following 5 precepts sincerely. Then nobody has to be afraid of each other. Nobody has to, uh, nobody will cheat each other. Nobody will deceive each other. Everybody will try to do something good for others. Isn't that the ideal situation? Because people don't follow, that's why people are afraid. People are afraid of each other. Somebody will harm. This fellow will harm me. That fellow will harm me. So, giving up that attitude of harm and evil and wrong tendencies, something which is bad for us, something which is bad for other people. This is where the Pancasila begins. This is the foundation of a good life. We are human beings. And we often say like this, we are human beings. So when we are human beings, we should have something special other than other humans, other animals, to call ourselves great or superior or extraordinary or anything. We should have something, no extra. And this extra, this speciality is the 5 precepts. This is where you are elevating yourself from the level of animal existence to a noble human existence. Animals kill each other and they are scared of each other. You go to a forest or you go where the wild animals live, they are always scared of each other. Because no, they don't know who is going to kill whom. Everybody is trying to kill each other and eat and such things. But when human beings behave like this, then they may look outwardly like a human being, but inwardly just like another animal. Because their instincts, their intention, their whole attitude is like an animal, not like a human being. So this is where the power of the 5 precepts make you really truly human, uplifting your life. If you want to uplift your life, then uplift your life with 5 precepts. If you are not following 5 precepts, you are not really uplifting. By falling below the 5 precepts, you are somebody who is having a low, base, useless existence. Useless, I say, useless. I repeat the word useless again. I repeat the word useless for the 3rd time because you don't know how dangerous it can be. Sometimes you have no idea how dangerous when you lie and cheat and deceive and kill and harm and have hate and do misconduct in sexual ways or all kinds of things. You don't know how dangerous when you do it 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, how dangerous and painful it will be ultimately. So we should be guarded in our actions. And this self correction, this starts from these five precepts. Buddha didn't say, we just believe this and that, your life will be good. No, he said, follow five precepts, then your life will be good. Follow the, have faith in the triple gem in the right way, in the along according to wisdom. Then your life will be good. Because life will be good means what? Life will have ups and downs. It is not that all problems will disappear by today or tomorrow. No, he was not telling like this. What he is saying is problems will come, but you will see through them and let them go eventually. Problems will not, problems will be there, but they will not become a burden for you. That's what he was saying. Tisarana and Pancasila. What people, everybody has problems. Some problem. When we have body, we have problem because body is getting old every day. That itself is a problem. Body is falling sick. It is itself is a problem. So similarly, our mind is changing. Body is changing. That itself is a problem. I mean, we can't keep it like this. It is not fixed or certain or anything. Problems will come, but you will see through it and you will eventually come out of it. You will not be burdened. To live without being burdened is the highest blessing. People live, all people live. You see, go around and see. Everybody is living, but everybody is carrying some amount of burden. So, Lord Buddha is showing us this is where you develop, this is what you develop, Tisarana and Panchashila and all the Dhamma practice that you develop. Then you will be free from burden. It's a way to be free from burden. Isn't that wonderful? Somebody telling you, oh, I know all people have burden, but I know I have put down my burden and come to me. I will tell you how to put down your burden. What is that's the best thing, because everybody suffers some burden, inward, outward, and somebody is telling us you can be free from burden. So, whenever you pay homage to the triple gem, remember you will have so much of gladness and happiness. So much of gladness, happiness, joy. Anybody who has done like this, they have realized like this. Our Bada Bhanteji, you have seen, no, you have seen him giving, many of you have seen giving Dhamma talks or teaching people on so many occasions. When he will talk about the Buddha Dhamma Sangha with so much of faith, so much of, not just faith, it's about conviction. You can say conviction. Knowing, yes, this is the real thing. So much of conviction. When talking separately, privately with monks, then also we saw. Because he took it in a very serious way and practiced and understood it. So anybody, all of you, can develop this treasure in your heart, and this is the treasure nobody can steal from you. Government, GST, income tax, this tax, that tax, nobody will put tax on this. Thieves will not come and steal you, they cannot. Sakka Devaraja also cannot steal. Brahmas also cannot steal. Nobody can steal this wealth of yours. And this wealth will stay with you today, tomorrow, this life, next life, up to Nibbana. So the great wealth of Tisarana and the value of Panchashila. So develop this, and I'm sure you will be free from burden. With this, we conclude the talk today. May all living beings share the merits and rejoice. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.